UFC Fight Night Tampa is this weekend featuring Colby Covington and Joaquin Buckley in the main event. Colby is back. Buckley is surging, turning around quickly to take this fight against Colby on he last fought 2 months and a week ago. So it's a quick turnaround for Buckley. Love to see it. Colby took this fight on pretty short notice as well. It was originally supposed to be Ian Gary, but I'm going to give you my picks and predictions for the whole card. I'm 315 and 86, or 186 this year. 315 and 86 would be crazy. Went 12 and 2 on the last card. Should have been 13 and 1 because Volkov got robbed. So let's get into it right now. The prediction game's hot right now. I'm kind of killing it. So let's see if we can keep it rolling. Starting off with Josephine Knudsen versus Pierre Rodriguez. I'm going Josephine Knudsen. She is the more skilled fighter. Her boxing's really crisp. She's a legitimate prospect, someone to watch out for that I think is continuing to improve. Pierre Rodriguez sucks. I really do think she sucks to me. I'm trying to look. She's been submitted. She got DQ'd by Carnelossi, or she got a DQ over Carnelossi. I don't think she's that good, but my problem with this fight is is this going to be another women's prospects that we see just get fucking fraud checked? Out of the blue, get fraud checked for no reason. I don't know. I'm going to trust Josephine Knudsen to get it done. I think she's going to win a decision here, 29-28. Should be one that's going to be pretty clear on the scorecard. Stuff is 29-28, but there might be a judge that realizes that control time matters for women's MMA more than striking does, apparently. Don't know where that ever came into play, but I'm going Josephine Knudsen by decision. I think she's the better fighter. She should get it done, but it's a tricky one to pick. I mean, we just tend to see women's prospects get fraud checked out of nowhere. Speaking of fraud check, I am going to go with Davey Grant over Ramon Tavares. Ramon Tavares lost his last fight to Sahir Sadeh, even though the judges gave it to Ramon Tavares on the UFC 297 card in Canada. I just think Davey Grant is tricky enough to beat the Ramon Tavares of the bantamweight division, man. I listen, he arguably beat Daniel Marcos and Adrian Yanez, who are fighting later on this card. I think Davey Grant's more dynamic. I think his striking's better. I definitely do think Ramon Tavares has some pop, and he's very physical, but I think Davey Grant has more ways to get it done, man. If I'm going to be brutally honest, I think he's a lot better than he gets credit for. I'm going to pick Davey Grant to get it done by decision. I think he's going to use his kicks and his range really well. And I think if this gets into the grappling, I'm going to trust the grappling game of Davey Grant more than Ramon Tavares because I just really haven't seen much in grappling from Ramon Tavares. I also noticed that Ramon Tavares has a little bit of range is tricky for the guy. He struggles a little bit to find range. He's going to keep this in boxing range, or he's going to try and keep this in the boxing range most of the time. I just think Davey Grant's going to be able to stay on the outside more, land low kicks, spinning kicks to the body, and he's going to be able to mix things up better. I'm going to go Davey Grant to win a decision here. Miranda Maverick versus Jamie Lynn Horth. Miranda Maverick's much better than Jamie Lynn Horth. Jamie Lynn Horth is not a great fighter. She beat who? She just recently got a win over Ivana Petrovic, a split. It was a very close fight. A lot of people think Petrovic won, and Jamie Lee Horth got a robbery decision because they were in Canada. She split decision, lost to Veronica Hardy, but she clearly lost that fight to me. I don't think Jamie Lynn Horth is good. I think Miranda Maverick is good, and she's consistently getting better. I'm going to go with Miranda Maverick, and I reckon she can actually get a finish in this fight. I bet she can get into a position where she's dominant, Jamie Lynn Horth can't get out, and she gets a TKO finish. So I'm going Miranda Maverick by finish here. I'm thinking second round, third round. As it gets later in the fight, Jamie Lynn Horth kind of just, she's getting out grappled, she's getting out gritted, she's getting beat up a little bit, and Miranda Maverick's just going to get the the referee's stoppage. So I'm going Miranda Maverick by finish, late round 2, early round 3. I'm going round 3 to be more specific. Felipe Lima, Miles Johns. I'm going Felipe Lima. I think he's going to win this fight pretty decisively. I think Miles Johns is a big, meaty overhand, and I think he's got a decent low kick from time to time. That's really all I see him having. I think he is very physically strong, but he's going up to featherweight. I bet he'll look pretty decent at featherweight, but another guy that looked decent at featherweight was Felipe Lima. We saw this guy submit Mohamed Naimov. Super impressive. I think Naimov is much better than Johns. And I know MMA math doesn't work, but Felipe Lima was keeping it up with Naimov on the feet, even doing better at points in time on the feet. And then he got it to the ground, got the rear naked choke in round 3. The second he realized, damn, this is too close for a judge's decision in Abu Dhabi to not just go to Naimov. I better go out there and get a finish. And that's what he did. Felipe Lima went out there, got the takedown, took the back, and then rear naked choked Muhammad Naimov. I reckon he's going to be able to outclass Miles Johns here. I think he's faster. I think he's more dynamic and can do more in terms of the striking. He has a slight reach advantage, but I like him being able to pepper his jab out there, mix up combinations, and not get chinned. I think Felipe Lima's got a good chin, and I think he's tough, he's gritty, but he's also fast, and I think he's a much better grappler than Miles Johns. So I'm going to pick Felipe Lima to win this fight, and I think he gets it done by decision. I'm going Felipe Lima. Really, really confident in this pick. Sean Woodson versus Fernando Padilla. I don't think Sean Woodson's that good, guys, but the problem is Fernando Padilla is even more frail. I don't think Sean Woodson's that good. I just don't think Padilla's good enough to beat him. I'm going to go with Sean Woodson to win this fight by decision. think the first round gets dicey. I think there's some good shots landed by Padilla. I don't think Sean Woodson takes shots very well, but I do think that he's going to be able to last out after that first round and then end up picking apart Fernando Padilla by decision. You're going to see the bullshit where Sean Woodson does the fake alley-oop. Whoa. Lands punches. Everyone's going, dude, that was decent. Dude, that was nasty. That was nasty, dude. You see the way he fucking alley-ooped to himself and then landed the low kick? I hate watching Sean Woodson fight, man. Alien-looking weirdo. I just think he's overrated. People talk about him like he's this world-class striker. Like, bro, he does fake fucking alley-oops and dribbles through his legs. Other than that, he's just a lanky fucking kickboxer with not a lot of power. I don't think he's that good, but I think he's good enough to beat Fernando Padilla. That's the thing. I don't think Sean Woodson will ever beat a ranked opponent that's not named Alex Caceres, even though that fight was fucking close. But I don't think Fernando Padilla is on the level of Sean Woodson. I'm going to go with Sean Woodson to win this fight by decision. Think he just lands a little bit more than Fernando Padilla. I can see this being a super shitty point fight at range the whole time where not a lot of strikes are landed. I'm going Sean Woodson by decision. Drakkar Klose versus Joel Alvarez. This is a sick fight. This is going to be a banger. I like Drakkar Klose a lot. I think he's really good. I think he always finds ways to win, and that's big in MMA, but I think Joel Alvarez is the guy. He's the guy that's going to end up being in the rankings at one point. He's the guy that's going to have a run in the rankings, I think, at one point. Love his striking recently. He looked great against Elvis Brenner. Love his submission game. The only time we seen him lost was when he was left in a pool of blood by Arman Tsarukyan, but I gotta say, Drakkar Klose is not Arman Tsarukyan. And I do think Drakkar Klose may have moments where he tries to grapple, but Joel Alvarez shows him that that's not a safe place to be right away in the first round. That ends up getting back on the feet, and I just think Joel Alvarez also has the range advantage. I'm going to pick Joel Alvarez. I hate that I'm picking so many decisions, but I just think this is going to be one of those cards where fights are pretty high level. Is Miranda Maverick the only finish I picked? Decision, finish, decision. You know what? Joel Alvarez by decision. We're changing. Felipe Lima, I think, is going to get a TKO in round 2. That's the one we're going to go with. Joel Alvarez decision, though. Let's stay here. Dude, he's really good. He's fought really good comp. I think he actually is going to have success in the rankings in the future. Just look at some of the comp he's faced. 17-0 in submissions. He's been TKO'd twice, but one of which was by Arman, which most people are getting TKO'd by him. Dude, Yakovlev, not an easy fight. He won easily with a first-round sub. Thiago Moises, first-round knockout. Makhachev couldn't do that, but I know, guys. I'm just fucking joking. But he TKOs Makhachev in the first round, or Moises in the first round. Gets TKO'd by Arman with brutal elbows. Then he subs Mark Jacasey. I think that's a really good win. Mark Jacasey's a guy that gets to be pretty tough to sub at times. And Joel Alvarez subbed him no problem. Then he goes out there in August and just destroys Elvis Brenner after a year off. Looked the best he's ever looked. Elvis Brenner's not an easy guy to finish. Joel Alvarez did it. Then you have Drakkar Klose, who, while I think he's a very good fighter, he did have a closer fight with Joaquin Silva. That's not Gene Silva, that's Joaquin Silva. Then he KO'd Joe Solecki with a slam after almost getting caught in an armbar. He UD'd Rafa Garcia. He KO'd Jenkins, but he lost to Dariush. So these are the kind of things that we're looking at here where it's like, I rate some of these wins higher. Is my shit frozen up? Maybe it is. Yeah, we're back. We're so back. Don't worry. I just rate the wins from Joel Alvarez higher. I like his finishing ability more. I'm going with Joel Alvarez to win a decision. When we move on to Michael Johnson and Ottman Azaitar, I actually don't think Ottman Azaitar is that good. I just think he had nukes in his hands. And this guy had a lot of hype behind him because he's tied to some bad people. Let's just say that. It doesn't run with the best folks, we'll say. And I think Michael Johnson's just better than him overall. He's faster. He also has power in his hands. Now, I can see Ottman Azaitar losing this fight and then in round 2 just winging a fat overhand that catches Michael Johnson the right way and knocks him out, just like Josh Emmett did, just like Carlos Diego Ferreira did. But I'm going to trust that the skills of Michael Johnson are more than the skills of Ottman Azaitar. I can see Michael Johnson wrestling in this fight and getting his takedowns very easily, landing good ground and pound. I'm going to take a round 2 KO from Michael Johnson via ground and pound elbows. I just think he's better than Ottman Azaitar. I really do. I'm very aware that Ottman Azaitar hits fucking hard, but I'm very aware that Michael Johnson also has a weak chin at times. But I actually am going to take this into consideration here. They're doing a fight night. I think they're using the old gloves. I think they're using the new gloves. Let me put it this way. I think they're using the pre-UFC 302 Makhachev Poirier gloves on pay-per-views. I think on fight nights they're still using the new gloves, meaning the post-302 gloves that are weaker. So I think there's going to be a little bit less knockouts on this card via standing on the feet. Let me say that because I do think Michael Johnson's going to get his TKO via elbows with ground and pound. So I'm going Michael Johnson, ground and pound, TKO, round 2. Navajo Sterling versus Tuco Tokos, probably a KO in round 1. Tuco Tokos is shit. He looked terrible against Umar Sy, and I get it, Umar Sy's a legit guy, but Navajo Sterling's out there training with Adesanya. I think his striking's pretty good, and I think he's good enough right now to beat the Tuco Tokoses of the world. He didn't look great against Latu, I will say that. Looked dicey, but Tuco Tokos isn't the guy that's going to step up and beat him. That's going to be the fight after that, so I'm going to go Navajo Sterling, round 1 KO. Moving on. Damn. I really wish I bet this earlier in the week because I'm taking Daniel Marcos. Think he can do more. Think he finds way to wins. Think his striking's more dynamic. I think Adrian Yanez just has boxing. And I think Daniel Marcos is going to be able to do more to win this fight. Finds ways to win. He's got a good chin. And the line was minus 180. And now it's 225. That's telling me something. I'm going to pick Daniel Marcos. I think he's going to get it done by TKO in round 3. I just think Adrian Yanez is one of those guys where if he doesn't get the win in the first 2 rounds, round 3 gets really difficult for him. And if it's a skilled fighter in there, they're going to finish him. Like Davey Grant beat him and they just gifted Adrian Yanez a decision. You know what? I'm going to go Daniel Marcos by decision. That's the one. I get he got knocked out by Rob Font and Jonathan Martinez. I don't think Daniel Marcos has the power that those guys do. And the Jonathan Martinez one is more, got kicked in the legs. But you look at the other wins that Adrian Yanez has, like Vinicius Salvador sucks, and he was coming up from flyweight. Tony Kelly is meh, and he knocked him out. Davey Grant, arguable loss in that decision. Randy Costa had moments against Randy Costa. Like, come on, dude. I'm picking Daniel Marcos to win this fight by decision. I like his 16-0 juicy record, even though one of them comes via a win over Davey Grant that I don't know he deserved to win. But Daniel Marcos looked better against Davey Grant than Adrian Yanez did. I'm going to use that as the comparison. I think Daniel Marcos has more weapons. I think Adrian Yanez is the better boxer, but I think Daniel Marcos has more weapons, and he's going to win this fight via decision by making it an MMA fight. We are moving on. I don't know that I've picked many dogs, but I'm taking one here. Dustin Jacoby. I have taken 0 underdogs. Sick. Davey Grant was an underdog, by the way. And then he switched. But I'm taking Dustin Jacoby here, dude. I think Vitor Petrino's shit. Now, the odds are banking on Vitor Petrino to either be able to wrestle fuck Dustin Jacoby or be able to knock him out. I actually don't think that Vitor Petrino is going to have success in wrestling here. I know it goes against everything that I've ever said about wrestlers being able to take down pure kickboxers, but I actually don't think Vitor Petrino is that good at getting fights to the canvas. And I do think he has nukes in his hands, but I don't think he's going to KO Dustin Jacoby. I can see this being a fight where Jacoby is blasting those low kicks and making it really hard for Vitor Petrino to walk early, and then he's able to set up his hands because of the kicks, with the jab, with the right hook. I think he's going to be able to outpoint Vitor Petrino here to a clear 30-27 decision. I'm going Dustin Jacoby to win a 30-27 dominant decision on the feet here against Vitor Petrino. You're going to have a judge that scores at 29-28 Petrino, though. Telling you right now, it's going to be a 30-27, 30-27 Jacoby, 29-28 Petrino. And the winner, 29-28, Dustin Jacoby. And it's going to be one of those ones, how could anyone score that fight for Petrino, dog? I know, DC. How could anyone score that fight for Petrino, bro? But Jacoby's going to get it done by decision in this fight. I'm calling it right now. Manel Kape, Bruno Silva. These lines are getting to be unbettable. I love plus 300 on Bruno Silva. I'm not going to lie, because he does have power, and Manel Kape is letting fights slip away from him at points. But I trust Manel Kape. I think he's going to get it done. I think he's a better striker than Bruno Silva. I think his takedown defense is really, really good. And I'm going to take Bruno Silva to lose via decision. I'm going Manel Kape to win. You know what? I'm going KO Manel Kape here. I think he's primed for a nasty, like, uppercut, flying knee, like, up kick, something up the middle. I think he's going to catch Bruno Silva with when Bruno Silva is relentlessly trying to get takedowns because he's not having success on the feet. I can see this fight being Manel Kape outpointing Bruno Silva, being faster. I do think Bruno Silva has the power advantage, but I think Manel Kape definitely has the speed and the volume advantage here. Listen, if Manel Kape's having good scrambles with Muhammad Mokaev and not staying on the ground for that long, I reckon that he's going to be able to get up if Bruno Silva gets him to the ground. I also reckon that Bruno Silva is going to have a tough time getting him to the ground at all. So I'm going to pick Manel Kape being able to sprawl these takedowns, stay on the feet, being able to outland Bruno Silva in terms of volume and speed, and then landing something up the middle in round 2 that knocks out Bruno Silva. I'm going round 2, KO, Manel Kape. Another underdog. To me, this is clear as day. I'm picking Cub Swanson, dude. I feel really good about a Cub Swanson underdog pick, which probably means stay away from this fight, guys, just saying. But Cub Swanson underdog pick here, man. I think that he is the level of opponent that Billy Quarantillo struggles with. I just think Billy Q just spams takedowns, doesn't have any technique with his striking, spams volume, and I think he's going to run into some real problems with Cub Swanson there. Think he can have moments where he's holding Cub Swanson against the cage, but I think Cub's going to be the guy that lands the cheeky elbows off the break, lands the knees in the clinch, crumbles the body of Billy Quarantillo. I can see body shots, but I can also see Cub Swanson just winning a gritty, tough, grindy out decision. I think he's going to do that. I'm going to pick Cub Swanson by decision here, 29-28, really grinding it out against Billy Q. Think he wins the first 2 rounds decisively. I think Billy Q's cardio is what gives him the 3rd round, but I think Cub Swanson's going to win this fight by decision. I think he's the better fighter. I don't think Billy Q's striking's good. I don't think his technical grappling's good. I think he's a cardio guy, and I don't think that's going to work against Cub Swanson right now. I think Cub's going to be able to land some really good shots, and he may retire after a win in this fight here. Cub Swanson's going to beat Billy Quarantillo by decision. And lastly, but not least, the main event, the fight you've all been waiting to hear about. It's Buckley, and it's Buckley by KO. I kind of want Colby to be back, you know? The problem with him winning this fight is he's going to call for a title fight after, but he did the MMA Guru interview. Seemed like a better version of Colby. He's still yapping, talking his shit, you know, all that good stuff, which is what we want to see, but he wasn't as, like, delusional as he was in, you know, the Leon fight. Like, he was delusional in years past recently, you know? And it's been worrisome. I actually think Colby's going to look really good and possibly win the first 2 rounds here against Joaquin Buckley. I think he's going to land some good volume, but also be able to shoot takedowns. I just think that as the fight goes on, Buckley's going to be better and better at stuffing him. I don't think Colby can out-cardio Buckley here. And that's a massive way for him to win fights, but I can see him trying to relentlessly shoot takedowns. Buckley's very physical and strong and is going to be able to shuck some of those takedowns off, going to be able to get back to his feet if it does get to the ground at moments. I think the physicality of Joaquin Buckley is very dangerous for Colby Covington here. I think he's physical, think he's strong, think he's a good grappler in himself, think he's a better striker than Colby, think he's got more power. And I also think his cardio's really good. Buckley does not have a cardio problem, guys. He doesn't. And that's scary. So Colby's the kind of guy that's going to relentlessly shoot takedowns on you, relentlessly throw a ton of volume punches at you. I think the problem is if he's trying to go volume punches with Joaquin Buckley, Colby finds himself in the pocket throwing with no defense when he's doing that. His defense is being able to throw a ton and then shoot a takedown. I think Buckley's going to be able to tag him on the way in. And once he starts tagging Colby on the way in, you're going to see Colby not on the front foot as much anymore. And if Colby's not in the front foot on any moments in this fight, Buckley's going to be able to spam hooks and catch him, just like he did Wonder Boy. I think Joaquin Buckley round 3 KO is coming here. I think Colby's going to win the first round and a half of this fight, but we're going to see at moments he's getting tagged and he's not liking it. If he's realizing the takedowns don't work, and then Buckley's able to just grow that confidence, move forward, and in round 3 land the shot that knocks out Colby. I'm going Buckley by KO. I'm starting to like Colby again, too. I really liked his interview with Guru. Really like some of the stuff that I've seen off camera with him. And when I say that, I mean, like, it's actually on camera. It's people, like, recording moments of Colby when he doesn't know he's being recorded, and they're kind of wholesome. I just think Colby losing sets up an Ian Gary fight so well. And I think that's what we're going to see here. I think Joaquin Buckley's going to win this fight by knockout. Then we're going to see Colby, maybe he says no to the Ian Gary fight again, and maybe he just takes a Gilbert Burns fight finally or something like that. I think Colby's going to lose to Joaquin here. I'm going to go Buckley by KO. That's the picks and predictions. I'm 315-86, been doing well, looking to keep it going here. Yeah, Buckley's the pick. It's going to be a close one, though. I don't know that I'm betting on Buckley because of the line the way it is. I don't know that I'm throwing that in a parlay, but keep in mind, brother, Colby is a live dog in this fight, but I'm going with Buckley. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like and subscribe. Let's get cooking on picks to end this year. We had a really good week last week. Let's keep it going strong.